Hey, what's up everybody? It's the Hyphenate here, and in today's photography tip, we're gonna go over how to expose for your background when you're shooting indoors and using on-camera flash. So here's a photo completely unedited that was taken inside a church with the background having a lot of light. So we wanted to make sure to preserve that lighting that we could see with our eyes and make sure that the flash illuminates our subject so everything looks cohesive. Now you could achieve a similar result if your camera's set to auto ISO and your flash is set to TTL, so they're both doing automatic settings. However, you might not get the best balance of light with the background and your subject. And if you're gonna be taking multiple photos and you wanna have the exact same result on every photo, then you want to try to avoid the automatic settings. So we're going to break down the manual settings you need in order to get a shot like this. Now it doesn't really matter what camera you're using, but just to give you more context, I shot with the Sony a7 IV with the Sony 55mm f1.8 lens wide open at f1.8 and the shutter speed at 1/160th. Now sometimes having an on-camera flash can adjust the preview exposure, so I usually recommend turning off the flash, set your camera lens to whatever aperture you want. Again, for me, it's wide open f1.8. The slowest shutter I'll use indoors handheld is 1/160th of a second, which will allow me to gather the most amount of light before introducing any type of camera shake or motion blur. So let me show you a few photos that I took that led me to get to the right settings. Now the subject was standing in a darker area than the background. The background had a lot more light hitting it. So the first thing you want to do is bring down your ISO as low as possible and then start to crank it up until you get the right exposure that you want for the background. With the flash off, and you can see here, everything is dark, including the background. Now, if I turn on the flash and I shoot at this lower ISO, the flash can illuminate her a decent amount, as you can see here, but the background is really dark. So again, keeping the flash off and then bringing the ISO up until the background looks how I want it to look. And now I'm exposed for the background, which on my camera ended up being ISO 800. Keeping the camera settings at f1.8 aperture and shutter speed 1/160th. I took a photo with the flash off, and now the subject is a little too dark, and that's where the flash comes in. Now with this on-camera flash, I'm also using the Gary Fong light sphere, which is a modifier that goes over. It creates a little dome kind of softbox type of modifier, so it softens the light and spreads it more evenly. That allows me to minimize the hot spots that the flash directly would create. If you want to learn more about that modifier for on-camera flash, I do have a video review of the Gary Fong light sphere, link in the description. So now we're back to that first photo I showed you. And the camera settings are exactly the same as this photo with no flash. Now with the flash, I had to change the output power manually and take several photos to make sure I get that right output power so that the subject is now exposed properly when the flash goes off as we shoot that photo. So that's really how simple it is to get the right exposure when you're doing indoor photography and you have a background with a different lighting setup than your subject's lighting. Expose for the background within your camera settings, then adjust the output power of your flash to make sure that your subject gets balanced out with a proper exposure, and that's it. Hopefully you found this tip helpful. I do have multiple playlists on this channel with more tips, more tutorials for flash photography, video, all kinds of other stuff, so check out those playlists. Also, if you're interested in any of the gear that I use, I do have links in the description where you can purchase them. It doesn't change the price that you get it at, but it does help this channel. Please make sure to drop a like on this video, drop a comment below if you have any questions, and please make sure to subscribe. I have a lot more videos coming soon. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.